Go.
Tell me to ride.
Can you ask Lily? Call Lily.
Hey everybody, welcome. It's so good to be with you. Sorry, Crystal got a call from one of our kids, and so that takes priority. I'm here with Jesse James Jamnik and Crystal Escobar. It's good to be with you guys. Thanks for being here. We got an exciting announcement that we're just going to talk to you about it casually and just kind of share what we've been up to and why. So I'll just start it off by just telling you guys that we have been thinking for 4 months now. We've been thinking, well, even longer than that, Jesse, because we've been talking for so long. But couple things. Not that the ER Shred Pack was insufficient. It's not. I mean, the results are there. It just works. I mean, it's just unbelievable what it's doing for people.
Sorry.
With that in mind, we have identified a couple areas where we could improve upon it. And so we're not opposed to that. Of course we're not. And I'm sure you're not as well. So one of the things that I'll start with, one of the things that I identified, Jesse, and then we'll move into what you had identified early on and then what Crystal had recommended. We'll go from there. First of all, we want people to treat the ER Shred protocol as like this incredible, I mean, this is fun. This is fun to do this. Like, you got to understand, like, we're shredders and we eat meat and we do hard things and we're badass. And this is what this is all about. Like, this is exciting and this is fun. And the community, the culture is just, it's just spot on, perfect. Like, shredheads. You can't get any better. You can't get any better than this culture. And so with all of that in mind, one of the things that I wanted to make sure of early on, we had a box of bone broth in the pack. And I kept saying, well, I just don't think it's enough bone broth myself, because I want people on those cleanse reset days, I want them eating, you know, especially early on when you first start cleansing and you're not really, you know, good at it or disciplined at it. I want you eating 2 to 3 of those, drinking those bone broth drinks per cleanse reset day to satiate your body. And then we encounter people, don't we, Jesse, that they just, there's people, guys, you got to realize where people are coming from. Like, we don't talk a lot about this, but where people are coming from, oh man, like, they don't just eat 3 meals a day. They eat all day, every day. They're constantly feeding. And just the habit alone sets them up for, it's very hard to make a lifestyle change when that's the case. Well, this is a feeding process. And so if you're someone, we're going to have an additional box of bone broth in that ER Shred Pack. And if you feel like, I don't have ever want to, you know, you say, suck it up, Buttercup. Jesse, you say, suck it up, Buttercup. I just don't ever want to hear anybody ever again say that they're hungry or they feel deprived or it's hard, because you guys are going to have 2 boxes of bone broth in that ER Shred Pack. And you just tell people, did you have some bone broth? And Jesse will talk to you about why that's so beneficial. Well, did you have more bone broth? Crystal, you talked about like the benefits of the bone broth.
Yeah. Well, you know, like, everybody's talking about all this collagen. Collagen is like trending right now. But I have, you know, starting this 6-7 months ago and doing the bone broth regularly, I already started noticing that kind of results that people are talking about right now when they're starting to consume collagen. I think the bone broth and then this whole ER Shred together combination is giving me that same kind of, like, the texture of my skin, and it just feels soft. So I love this whole collagen thing. I feel like the ER Shred and the bone broth has everything that we need. Also, I loved how Kimber and so many others have been posting about other ways of using the bone broth, like sprinkling it onto your meat to add flavor. Like, best way to flavor your meat is with the bone broth.
Totally cool. So you guys are going to have more bone broth. That's by design. We've been thinking that since the very beginning. And we want people to, because they're getting an 11-day protocol, but we want it to be more than that, don't we, Jess? We don't want this to just be this 11-day thing. And that's why we built into it another canister of shake, which is 14 meals, and another canister or box now of the bone broth, which is another 15 meals. And we're also going to recommend, this is the last thing that I'll say, and then I'm going to kick it over to you, Jesse. We also recommend, in terms of lifestyle, we're going to recommend that people continue on at a minimum eating 1 shake a day, Isoline Pro, and drinking one of those bone broths every single day of your life. And I know we've talked about that, you know, in the beginning, we talked about that and just kind of passively nudged people along. But I'm telling you guys, if you will look at those as bona fide food sources, this is staple food supply. If you will do that, you're going to keep seeing more and more compounding results. You're going to be strengthened against this crazy world we live in and all your past habits and cravings and everything else. That bone broth is a miracle, and that Isolene Pro is a miracle. And you know, you can always go back to baseline. We know that. Always go back to baseline. Now, Jesse, I'm going to turn it over to you. You're our ambassador for ER Shred. You're our nutrition coach for ER Shred. I promised I would give a shout out to Susan Rothman. I know you've been consulting with her a lot. And Jesse, what did you identify early on in people's results, and what are we talking about now in terms of something that you identified there was a need and we're filling that need? Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you. First of all, this is really, really exciting. I don't know if you guys see all the comments that are coming in that I've been posting up, but everybody's pretty pumped. So, you know, I think before I get into that, to answer your question, it was electrolytes, and we're gonna dive into that part of it and why that's such a crucial piece of all around health that we really want to kind of slide into this. But I think it's really important. You touched on it a little bit, but I just wanted to remind everybody that when we talk about the bigger vision of ER Shred, and we look beyond the weight and we look beyond the physical, you know, what we're starting to see is what, you know, people like Susan and myself, and, you know, people that have been on a mission for 15 plus years trying to help other people with their genuine health. You know, I think health gets a little bit skewed because of the crazy media today. And what do we mean by that? Like, overall health is, you know, having energy to be the best parent possible. Overall health is, you know, having that extra energy to come home after a day of work and still be able to give to your family, still be able to give to your kids or your husband or your wife. Overall health is, you know, being able to say, hey, I want to go on an adventure, and you're actually physically able to go on an adventure. Like, you guys, you love to mountain bike and go out into nature, and you guys are always out there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I love to climb mountains, and I can do that anytime because I always have that health, right? So we look at the bigger thing, and we really want to focus in on lifestyle and how can this really encompass every aspect of a holistic way of living is what we really want to kind of focus on. Like, that's our circle. So everything has to fall into that circle. And I just want to let everybody know, like, this isn't something that just is like, oh, hey, let's add this, right? Like, we really wanted to make sure. And here's the thing, Sean, this is what I want to remind everybody of. Everybody's always like, well, how come we can't do this? And how come we can't do that? Listen, I've spent over 15 years in this diet world, watching people. More importantly than studying from different sources and learning over 100 different dietary theories, Sean, I've tried literally probably 35 plus different things myself. You've tried different things. Crystal's tried different things. Like, and what we've come to identify is that maybe it's not just one thing, right? Maybe it's this combination of things. So, you know, people always will say, well, it kind of sounds like carnivore and it kind of sounds like keto, but it's really not that. And it's not that. You're right. So what we've done, what's so magical, what I mean by fusion, when I talk about the fusion of the shred, is that we've taken the best concepts from all of these different scientific approaches that have all been studied, that all have documentation, and we've taken the best, but we've tried to eliminate the negatives that come out of it. We don't want to do full-blown who wants to have keto flu? That's no bueno, you know what I mean? Who wants to feel like they're starving? Starvation is not a fun place to be. I mean, that's like, if you can't, if you don't have needs, right? So I think it's really important that people understand that. So we're looking at lifestyle, this all-inclusive community. And if you notice, like, even Crystal now, she started the mindset piece. We're connecting physical and mental. We're doing all of that. That's such a beautiful concept. When I look at what I've learned, what I paid thousands of dollars to learn from holistic nutrition schools, it's about that circle of life. The spirituality, the career, the home cooking, the physical exercise, the nourishing from within, the cells, the mindset, how it's all connected. And I want people to really look at the bigger picture when we talk about this, because I think it really fits in, right? So we identified, like you guys said, like, we don't want somebody to come in and be like, oh, this is just another diet. To us, that's like stabbing me in the heart. It's like stabbing me in the heart. This is not another diet to me. This is why I'm so passionate about this, is because the people that can continue on, that can actually make change. How many times have people started something but failed and gone back and forth and back and forth, and it's created this bad concept, this juju in their brain. And now look at what we have with the ER Shred. We have multiple success stories of months, not weeks or days or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, everybody's got to know my cat, right? This is really, I mean, she's nuts. But we're looking at that overall bigger picture. So you get this community, you get all of that. So with that being said, I thought that was important. How did we change it? What did we do? We didn't really change it. We made it better. I want to look at it like that. We didn't take away, we made it better. So we identified over the course of watching people and talking to people, what are some of the negatives that are coming up? Now, you guys talked about once you're done with 11 days, why in the world, when you feel that amazing,
right,
you're going to start to look at this as food. So having more shakes, even if you need an extra one, or having more bone broth, that's just like a no-brainer. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to start to learn that food is something that you can't get anywhere else. Your body's absorbing it. Your body's going to crave that. That's your foundation. So when I look at that stuff, for me, that's my foundation. And then I build upon my foundation. With a weak foundation, you're going to have a crumbled structure over time. We don't want that. Remember, our goal is lifestyle, right? So that's really important to understand why that piece is there. It sets you up for ultimate success, and that's really what we want from you. That's what we want for everybody. We want you to succeed, right? We want you to feel like the three of us feel every day. Like, we feel jacked up. We feel full of life. Like, you deserve that in your life, friends. You deserve that, right? So now what else are we looking at? Well, we know that a funny thing happens when we start to restrict carbohydrates from the body, okay? And what people don't realize is carbohydrates store water inside the belly of the muscle. It stores energy, it stores sodium inside the liver and such. When you strip away the carbohydrates, your body's going to react to that, where we're going to keep it really simple, right? And we'll put out more education on this specific thing later on, but your body is going to be like in shock for a second, and it's actually going to release the sodium. It's going to let go of the stored sodium. So it's essential to make sure that we're replacing those electrolytes, sodium, as well as potassium, as well as magnesium. Those create balance inside the body. So we're talking about the difference of feeling dizzy or not feeling dizzy. We're talking about the difference of having muscle cramps or not having muscle cramps. And we have to remember that every one of us is coming from a different place. And some of us, our health, we said yes because we recognize that we need to draw the line and it's time to get going. We know that our health is our greatest wealth now, right? But it's going to it's going to take time. So we need to make sure that we can balance those. So I thought the amped hydrate would have been a great addition. And we're going to now bring that into the ER Shred pack to make sure that we are balanced on the electrolyte level. We have 110 milligrams of sodium, we have 110 milligrams of potassium, and then there's only 13 milligrams of magnesium, because that's one that we really don't have to worry about all that much. And we're getting it also from meat and such to that nature. Mm-hmm. So we're going to balance that out. Hydration is super, super important. So this is going to help people consume more liquid. This is also going to make sure that we're not flushing. A bad thing can happen if we actually drink too much water, believe it or not. We can flush more electrolytes away from our body. So I'm kind of not a fan of like the whole gallon a day club. It doesn't really make sense to me. Like, you drink as much water, usually that's about half your body weight in ounces, until your thirst is satisfied. But if you over drink, it's bad. So we're going to take the amped hydrate. It has 0 sugar. It also, this is why it's important to me, it has 0 sugar alcohols. Mm-hmm. So everything is completely natural. It stays true to us not just taking things to take things. We have to get out of that mentality. I think so many of us, like, we're taking a vitamin because the magazine said take a vitamin. Well, how do you know your body actually needs that vitamin? unless you got blood work, right? And it says you're low in, in vitamin D. Okay, great. Well, then you need to supplement because your blood told you that. But I think we're in this habit, Sean, of just taking, and we want to make sure that the reason the ER shred works, this is I believe this, is because it's so simple, and we've not gotten away from that.
Yeah.
It's so simple, and everything that's a part of the ER shred is there for a reason. It's not there because, one report said this ingredient was good for us. We've gotten into this crazy thing that I've noticed over the years that people are just taking stuff, and I'm like, why are you taking that? And they're like, well, I don't know. They said it was good for me.
And they're taking handfuls of pills. They're taking handfuls of pills, and they're no better for it, and they've got really expensive urine. Hey, so because their body's not working well. But I wanted to talk to you to prove what you just said, which is no, we're not just stacking. We're not going to be stacking products onto ER shred on an ongoing basis like that. That is not what we're doing. We identified a few needs. We're filling those needs. I guarantee we won't need to fill any more needs for a very, very, very long time unless new science evolves and what have you, and it could, but not for a very long time. But with that said, to demonstrate to you that we're not just stacking more products onto this, we're removing a product. Yep. We're actually removing a product, Jesse. And so tell people why we're basically replacing the natural accelerator capsule with the hydrate.
Yeah, great question, Sean. Thank you. I kind of just almost answered the question, right? Where I think we're taking now, is the natural accelerator a quality product? Hands down, 100%. That's not the issue, okay? The issue is, do we really need it? Now, why are we taking a natural accelerator when we are learning how to make our bodies the best fat burning machine on the planet? We're learning how to become fat adaptive. When you're switching that over and you're forcing your body to take from fat, you are naturally already jacking your metabolism rates inside your body by yourself. Also, what people don't realize, Sean, is that when you up your intake of protein to the levels that your body requires, because remember, my food is your poison. This is about you, right? What are your levels? Whatever that may be. People don't realize that 70% of the energy, now what is energy? Calories, right? 70% of the energy in protein, I believe it is actually used for just digestion alone. Faster metabolism, right? And as you start to lose and shed body fat, Sean, is very sluggish. It's also very anabolic. It's greasy. It's sticky. It's just, it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like it clogs things up, and it jacks up all the neurons and the fires and the simulators inside, and it affects the organs. So as you start to strip away more and more and more of that body fat, you can imagine your natural metabolism is going through the roof, right? Now, later on, if you find where, you might need a little bit of an extra boost and you want to add it in to complement what you're doing, I think it's my mission to educate people that I believe every single human being needs to supplement in some way, shape, or form. I believe that because of research I've done about our food quality and our dirt, and that's another call for a different time, but I believe that. However, supplementation has to be combined with something like fueling for like performance, like we're doing with the ER shred. The fats, the quality proteins, the food that our body was designed to thrive off of. It's in balance, you see? We're not just doing it to do it. We're doing it because it fills a void. It makes sense. There's science. That's what we follow.
Yeah, and as an ultra marathoner, Jesse, what's your experience been with that product, the Amped Hydrate? What's your experience been with that product?
Well, let me tell you something. I've used Amped Hydrate for the last 6 years. I used Amped Hydrate in 2 Spartan death races that went for 3 days straight with no sleep in between, all self-supported. I've used it for the Georgia death race. I've used it for Endurance Society 88K. I mean, I have used it in extreme humidity training. I've used it in cold training. I personally like it. I like this new version even better than the one that we originally had because they stripped away the sugar. There is no sugar alcohols. I'm a big fan of the lemon lime, and that's what I would suggest to people. And I want to tell you why. As you get more trained here, when your brain, the brain's a muscle, right, Sean? The more we train it, just like we train biceps, like you have to train it. And Crystal, she's going to talk to you guys and coach you on all this. She knows this. She's shaking her head, but you have to train the brain, right? And when you have really sweet things, I don't want those to be a trigger for people, like maybe like a blue raspberry or something like that. Now, can you throw it in? Is it your choice? Of course. I'm going to recommend you start with lemon lime. It's a very relaxing, it's a very satisfying flavor, and you're going to get everything that you need. And then as you become more mentally stronger to deal with certain feelings, because that's what the feelings trigger releases for people. We don't want you to spiral backwards. We want you to keep moving forwards. But it's such a valuable product because it's going to help those people that are struggling a little bit to balance things out. And I noticed a question too I want to hit on. They said, what do you recommend when? Really, you can do it once a day. You know what I mean? You can do it, I use it during my workouts. If you're working out and you're sweating a lot, you're flushing electrolytes away from the body. You can use an amped hydrate. That's when you would want to use technically a sports drink, right? So this isn't just for sports people. This is for natural hydration just by stripping the carbs away. If you're a person that's just starting and you're not at the exercise phase yet, no worries. This is still going to be an amazing benefit for you because hydration makes you feel great. It makes you feel great. You can be off 2 points, Sean, and feel really, really miserable. So I mean, I'll tell you, I got something. I wanted to share something with you guys. Some of the things that I've learned, I printed out so I wouldn't forget. But something like dizziness, headache, confusion, tiredness, fatigue, restlessness, irritability, those are all symptoms that you need a little bit more sodium. So that's why we're saying salt. You can use bouillon cubes. You're going to get sodium from the amped hydrate. You can also get it, you know what I mean, from other foods as well. Stuff like irritability, anxiety, confusion, muscle weakness, impaired coordination, vertigo, which is just kind of confusion, right? Difficulty swallowing. That's all magnesium. Now that's really rare that somebody is deficient in that, okay? So it's okay to be like that. And then the other thing is dizziness, low blood pressure, muscle weakness, fatigue, cramping, that's potassium. So, I wanted to see in the beginning, you asked me what was I weary of, and I fought you on this a little bit. So we can be, you and I are very transparent with everybody, and we're like, this is for everybody. Like
we weighed it out.
Yeah, I fought you on this a little bit, but I believed in the simplicity. And I mean, guys, look at the results we've had, right? But the difference is that this can now take it to another level, and it can help even more people, and it just makes it better. It just makes it better. You know what I mean? To have that.
Awesome. Okay, and let's and guys, don't worry. We'll add it to the manual recommended dosage and when we when Jesse and Susan and when we recommend you might incorporate that in your day. I hope it motivates you to work out. In fact, I think we might have a little rule. You're only allowed to have your hydrate as a shred. You get off your butt and work out. That's going to be our rule. Now, what that means is even if that's a 25-minute walk, you can have your hydrate, but you get out and walk. You hear me? Because we're not going to just be giving you treats and stuff, because this is going to taste good to you and you're going to love it. But treats in ER Shred are going to be earned. We know this.
Yeah. Somebody said, is there potassium in the hydrate? Absolutely. There's 110 milligrams of potassium. And to kind of put that into perspective, you get about 200 milligrams of potassium when you eat a meat meal. So you're getting quite a bit of potassium to help balance you out. Now, there's magical things in meat. We've been telling you that since day one, right? Well, it's a lot more than just eating meat, friends. Like, there's a reason behind everything that goes on. So trust me. But this is one thing that I did fight Sean on. I had a feeling it might happen, especially for those that weren't working out, that weren't physically fit. It's a major transition happening inside the body, and we really want to make sure that you guys are taken care of. So, but you want to move on to the rest so we can kind of wrap it up, Sean?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the rest. I know Crystal's got, you go ahead and kick off the third thing, and then I just wanted to assure people in terms of cost, I'll do that at the end.
You do that, okay,
I want to assure people in terms of cost, guys, we're only going up $10. So I know it's going to blow your mind, but we found a way to introduce 3 new products to this pack, and the price only goes up $10.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like it's crazy. Like for the value that you're getting, I mean, you're getting an extra box of bone broth that's going to take you through. So it lasts you well through 2.5 weeks. You can, you know what I mean, depending upon how many shakes you have. You're getting the amped hydrate, right? You're still getting the snack wafers. And the other thing that we're adding is sleep support. Sleep support. And why are we doing that? Listen to me, friends. Sleep is one of the most underrated things in all of holistic health. And so many people just kind of brush it off, right? They're like, well, you know, I sleep for 6 hours. I do this, I do that, whatever the case may be. There are massive, massive benefits to quality REM sleep. This is when your body heals and repairs itself. So you do damage when you exercise. You do damage throughout the day. You do damage to your body. When your body goes to sleep, especially in the deep REM sleep, that is when your body is at its best. Everything slows down and all that energy goes to the repairing process. And this sleep support, it contains fast absorbed, sustained release melatonin. It is non-habit forming. This is completely safe. Again, we're not going to put anything in there. Like the ingredients make sense to our circle, our umbrella that we explained at the beginning, okay? It's also combined with a nutrient complex that promotes sound, more beneficial night's sleep. So you might be saying, well, Jesse, I'm falling asleep. I sleep well. The ingredients that are in here, just like our Cleanse for Life, right? Our body's the miracle. We're supporting the body. Well, we're doing the same thing with this, Sean. We're supporting the body. You literally open your mouth, 2 to 3 sprays under the tongue. You hold it for a minute. I've been using this product for 5 years. I know you guys use this product as well. It's amazing. It's honestly amazing. And I've had a lot of people that have used it over the years that have come back and really talked very, very highly of this. This is not your typical over-the-counter CVS melatonin that you're buying. This is completely, completely different. So we have that in there. And then the snack wafers, you know, those guys, those are actually really essential because, you know, when you're cleansing, and especially when you're just starting your health journey, if you are still struggling with the intermittent fasting aspect, that is because you still have insulin resistance. You have not gotten your body yet. And this may be 2, 3, 4 times, depending upon where you're at. And the snack wafers are specifically formulated to be just enough. And with that and the bone broth, the healing in the gut that takes place with the collagen, especially on an empty stomach, and you know your body's just ready to absorb everything, it's really an essential piece to really help you get by. And again, you can use them as a snack. You can use them for other things. Some people start off and they absolutely dread them and hate them. And a year later, you hear that people eat them as like everyday snacks because things have changed and taste buds change. So they're really an essential piece. So that's really what we have is we have 2 protein, we have 2 bone broth, we have 2 Cleanse for Life. We have your snack support your snack wafers to support you. We have your sleep spray, and then we also have your amped hydrate. I mean, everything, Sean, from every angle, the positives, the negatives, we're addressing it all to make sure that people have the best experience that they could possibly have, and it all fits into the bigger vision of what ER Shred is going to continue to become.
Killer. Crystal, what did she has experience, she wanted to share some, you know, she just really does love the sleep spray. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've been using it for years, and I've also tried a lot of other kinds of melatonins, and I actually have been a lot more aware of like looking at ingredients like as of the last year or so, but it's interesting to see the added ingredients in all the other melatonins and the sugars and all that. So I'm a huge fan of our sleep spray for that reason, for the ingredients alone and the effectiveness of it. I mean, it works every time, and it's even safe to give to your kids. We've given it to our kids here and there.
We're not going to say that
spray.
we recommend it for children.
It was really helpful, like on vacations when our kids were younger and they needed to take naps, and we needed to make them take a nap so that we can be out.
Don't judge us. ER shredders do not judge each other.
Yeah.
No judgment zone. We do not recommend that children take it, but we will admit that
like
there
on
have
an airplane, you might need them to go to sleep.
I may or may not have given it to my daughter.
Hey, I just realized there are no pills right now in the ER shred. We talk about baseline. There are no pills to swallow in the ER shred protocol, that initial 11 days. And by the way, we're giving you more product. I hope you understand. You're going to have enough hydrate to keep using it the rest of the month. You're going to have enough bone broth to keep using it the rest of the month. You're going to have enough Isolene Pro to keep using it the rest of the month. So don't get the impression that this investment you're making is just for 11 days. It's not. It's actually, it's a practically 30 days worth of product, depending on how you want to use it. It's 30 days worth of product. I've got some notes here. Jesse, did I cut you off? Were you going to say anything else?
No, I think we covered all of that. And like I said, I'll put together informational stuff to break down the different sections for people, and we'll go into more depth because there really is, it goes so much deeper than the surface that we just scratched. Mm-hmm. It's really beautiful things that we just did to create that overall holistic health experience for people, and that really just lights me up because that's what I've been trying to do for years. Yeah. Right, is to give everybody that just, well, how do you describe that feeling that you have every day? Like,
oh, I love it. You always say jacked up. I always say
Bob says lightning in a bottle.
Lightning in a bottle. Yeah, I mean, lit. You used lit the other day. Lit. I feel lit.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Guys, so check it out. Just so you know, just so you're aware, in order to get that pricing, so the ER Shred Pack, the way we had it was $246. You can get the ER Shred Pack the way we've designed it now with those 3 additional products for $256. In order to get that price, you do have to go on what's called Lifestyle Rewards, which is a monthly shipment, and you can decide what you want that to be. But what we're recommending as a baseline, again, is 2 canisters of Isolene Pro as a food source, 2 boxes of the collagen bone broth as a food source, and that's going to run you on a monthly basis. It's about $165. You got to consider you're going to be able to replace with that alone is 58 meals. 58 meals. I didn't even do the math yet, but 58 meals. Someone can tell me what 58 meals into $165
yeah,
is.
Somebody do the math right now.
It's like $3 a meal. I mean, look at it. It's like little over $3 a meal. I got it in the head there. ER Shred heads don't need calculators. We don't need calculators. But guys, it's a great value. And the reason I feel, you know how I feel about auto ship, the reason I feel good about it is because this is food and you've got to eat. And this isn't me saying that this is food and I'm trying to pull one on you. No, this stuff is food. Like, you can live on this stuff. It's totally food.
Yeah. $2.90, and Amber says $2.90. Yeah, I want Sean, Sean, I want people to feel comfortable about that and realize too that they also have access to alter, change, do anything they want.
Eat it, whatever you want.
But I think what people, and those people can even comment, those that have been with us now since October or have done a couple now, trust me, you're not going to want to have a day where you are not putting that bioavailable nutrition in your body. Like, once you understand that connection, you're going to have, I always talk about the aha moment. When you understand the raw power of real quality nutrition, you're going to get that very quickly. You're not going to want to run out. And when you break it down to $50 a week and you're substituting, just in the shakes alone, you got, what is it? 14 meals, right? Just in the shakes alone. It's crazy. And then you have that obviously collagen bone broth, like that's your foundation. Yeah. And you can build upon that. But at the bare minimum, it's got to be your foundation.
Cool. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, I'm going to put it out there. This is Utah's taken. You can't get this in Utah because I got it. Mine.
Mine.
But hey, go get your ER Shred license plate. Go get it. Don't get it in North Carolina though, because Jesse's getting it in North Carolina.
I'm just gonna answer one question real
Sure.
quick. Somebody asked how much hydrate you can have in a day, and it's just what you said was, if you're gonna work out, you get your
Jesse,
hydrate.
what do you think? Yeah, what did you say about that? But yes, thank you. They got to work out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important to do that because the part of the lifestyle is physical fitness.
Yes.
Right. It's important to do that. But I want people to understand too, if we're being like, yes, workout, push yourself to do that. Brisk walking, people have no idea how actually beneficial it is. I get like 3-4 miles of just walking alone. That's not including my exercise every day. It's really, really important to the body, the core, and everything. But however, if you're not at that place yet, you can still benefit from having hydrate. You can split it up. So you can have little, you can make a 16-ounce bottle with 1 scoop and split it up into smaller servings so you can mix it up throughout the day. If you're feeling very, very depleted and you're just like, it's not like you've already said, suck it up to yourself. You realize that it's not just you being, what do I mean by that too, Sean, is people, like, I want people to realize too, what that really means is we've trained our brains to
You're trying to say you're not an a-hole right now. I know what you're doing.
I'm okay with being the asshole too. I'm perfectly okay with that. Somebody has to do it. Somebody can't, you know what I mean? We can't change diapers forever. And I really want people to have success. And we've gotten into this babying thing. But what I mean by that is if you've gotten to a point where it's like you really know, because you're not just being yourself and finding an excuse, but if you really feel drained, some electrolytes, you can put some salt in your mouth, you can have some hydrate, mix it up, play around with it. Maybe you might just need to eat a little bit of meat.
Mm-hmm.
But use common sense. I don't want to give an answer because that's not what we do here, right? We're teaching people to fish. I want them to check in with their body, and I want them to ask themselves what they feel they need. And I promise you, what that first feeling is in that gut, you learn to trust that gut. It knows better than you think.
Thank you for
Love
honoring
that.
Thank you for honoring that.
Yeah.
That's really important, Jesse. You've done a great job of that. We're teaching people how to be in tune with their body, and we're teaching people, well, I'll just tell you what's naturally born of that. Shows you how important the body is, Jess, because what's naturally born of that is people's minds start to come on board too. And
absolutely.
Next thing you know, they're intuitive with their mind, and then Susan was talking about the spiritual aspect. It's all so exciting. Jesse, thanks for all you do. Thanks for your contributions to this.
Mm-hmm.
And Crystal, thanks for all you do and for being so good looking.
Thank you.
You're always putting her in crazy situations. You're always putting her in crazy situations.
And Jesse James Jamnik, thank you for being so good looking.
Oh man, thank you guys. Yeah, listen, everybody's excited, dude. I'm pumped. So I hope you guys understand that. Again, don't freak out. Go along with it. We've never steered you wrong since the beginning. I mean, look at what's happened. Go into the group and just look. You've answered that question for yourself. You know what I mean? Some of you, I just want, before you freak out, before you freak out, because I know some of you are going to freak out. Oh, they took away the accelerator. I want you to just relax and realize that I promise you, we hashed this out. Like, we spoke for hours hashing this out. You have no idea. Like, this isn't just like a thing. Like, we want this so long term. This just goes on and on and on. We envision, ER Shred workouts. We envision ER Shred mindset training, ER Shred spirituality. I mean, guys, it's no idea. Just go with the flow, take a breath, go with the flow, and I promise you're gonna feel awesome.
Yes. Thanks, Jesse. Thanks, everybody. And we will. Hey, Jesse, put a plug for your call tomorrow night, okay?
Yes. So tomorrow night, Shred Your Body call. We do it every single Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. What's that? 5 p.m. Central, right? 5 p.m. No, 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Pacific. 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. A special guest tomorrow. One of our really killer, what do you call them? VIP shredders. We have Carrie coming on the call tomorrow. She has lost 52 pounds. She went from double XL scrubs to medium scrubs. this story is going to blow your mind. So don't miss that. We'll put that out. And then Wednesday, we have our
what did she used to scrub? Like Excel?
No, she works in the medical industry. She works in the medical field. What are you talking about? What did she use to scrub?
The scrubber.
Yeah.
Her scrubs, like the scrubs that nurses wear?
Yeah. Dude, I'm related to her. I know what she does.
I hate you. This is why nobody likes you. This is why nobody likes you. Anyway, and then Wednesday we have Shred Your Testimonial. This is a beautiful call. It's my favorite. These two, we're sharing real life stories. 30 minutes of just jaw dropping testimonials, and then we do a quick little breakdown of the science of the shred.
Okay, guys, we love you all.
All right, guys, have an awesome night.
Thank you, everyone.